Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in another episode of Universe Mode on the JPG channel. Of course, we are on the road to the Royal Rumble. And what is a Royal Rumble without this man right here, Seth freaking Rollins, a man that made his arrival on the scene, his return to Monday nights, if you will, last week after the culmination of the main event between Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre. But as you can see, Seth Rollins did not come alone. McIntyre and Owens were laid out at the hands of Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, who seemingly are now a part of this alliance with Seth freaking Rollins that I'm told he is being called the Vision. Wait, what the? Well, Rollins is trying to make his case as to why he picked these two men to be a part of his vision, but obviously, in a sense, an enraged Kevin Owens is on the scene now. Kevin Owens just beating the crap out of Rollins. He took out Fletcher and Takeshita. Owens a madman on the loose. And look at this, Kevin Owens is just putting it down, laying it in on the Visionary, Seth freaking Rollins. I guess that's where the whole stable name, the Vision, comes from. He is the Visionary. Well, there goes the Visionary over the top rope. Kevin Owens laying Rollins out, clearly welcoming all of these Vision members to get back in the ring if they'd like to. But Kevin Owens stands tall to open our show against the Vision. Very interesting stuff on the horizon as we do dive closer and closer to the Royal Rumble. The problems with Seth freaking Rollins, his Vision, and Kevin Owens. And you got to believe that Drew McIntyre is somewhere in that conversation in the mix as well, because McIntyre was laid out at the hands of the Vision last week just as much as Kevin Owens was. Owens obviously choosing to fight fire with fire tonight. Lay out the Vision. But one thing about Seth Rollins is, I mean, you should always know, at one point he was the plan B. So, of course, he always has a plan B. He always has a plan A, B, C, or D. And, well, we saw his first plan come together beautifully last week, again, with the arrival of Kyle Fletcher and the addition of the Japanese phenom Konosuke Takeshita, the Alpha and the Proto Star. As I said, apparently are a part of Rollins' vision for the future. And he kind of teased that there might be a few more people before Owens, opened up a can of whoop ass on him. He was saying that the vision is not fully clear yet. I don't know if he meant that for face value or what, but to me it sounded like Rollins has a few, if not more than one other person in mind that he sees as legitimately the future of this company. But needless to say, we are underway with our first match of tonight, of the night. Sold out crowd as always. Our first sight of action is going to be in the women's division. The women's Intercontinental Champion Liv Morgan, after getting involved in a handful of Dominic Mysterio's matches the last few weeks, now she has her work cut out for her in singles competition. Basically her punishment is having to wrestle, the thing that she gets paid to do here tonight. Liv Morgan's first sight of action in 2026 as she is against Cora Jade, formerly one half of the women's tag team champions, along with Roxanne Perez. But as of last week, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria defeating Perez and Jade to become the new women's tag team champions. Congratulations are in store for the role model and Valkyria, although throughout the entire match we were questioning just how much loyalty Roxanne Perez has left in the team of her and Jade. As Morgan goes for a drop toe hold, goes for a strike as well, but Cora had that scouted, but Liv Morgan turning things around already. Look at this, a monkey flip out of the corner by the Women's Intercontinental Champion, who has the support ringside right now with Dirty Dominic Mysterio and big Raquel Rodriguez. Big sexy Raquel Rodriguez, I'm sure, I'm told is what she wants to be called. Kind of a newer edition of the Judgment Day, as look at that maneuver by Liv Morgan. Not even getting a 1 count though. Cora Jade showing some fight. Very telling that Cora Jade, not even a week fresh off of losing those Women's Tag Team Championships, is already, gunning for another championship, as Liv Morgan just guns straight for her with a suicide dive. Straight out shot like a cannon. Like a bullet out of a barrel. But like I said, I'm not trying to pluck any feathers here, but Cora Jade, challenging the Women's Intercontinental Champion. Non-title action, of course, but should she get the job done against Liv Morgan, nice reversal by Morgan there. If she gets the job done here tonight, you have to believe she'll be in conversations for a title opportunity down the line. As look at this variation of the Black Widow submission maneuver. Of course, you see a woman that Cora Jade had looked up to growing up, AJ Lee, pull out a move like that usually. Cora Jade maybe paying a little homage to AJ Lee right then and there. We know she thinks the world of AJ Lee, and of course her husband CM Punk, the WWE Champion, who we will see later on tonight, taking on an opponent of Samoa Joe's choosing, like we announced last week, who the Samoan Submission Machine is going to put against the champion. I mean, the list could be a mile long for who Samoa Joe has lined up for CM Punk. We'll have to find out in our main event. We got more Judgment Day members in action. JD and Mcdonagh going to be taking on Roddy Strong of the Undisputed Era, while that rivalry still builds up. As Liv Morgan chopping away at the chest of Cora Jade, sending her into the ropes. Beautiful arm drag there. And look at this. Liv Morgan's fired up here tonight. I would say feeding off the energy of this crowd, but a lot of this crowd doesn't like nor agree with what the way that Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom and the entire Judgment Day do business. As I look at this, off the ropes with a drop kick for the ages. Goes for the cover, only a 1 count. Elsewhere on the card, folks, we will be seeing the return to Monday Night Raw of Rhea Ripley, who is officially back here on the Raw roster. Of course, last week we saw the return of Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw. Then on Friday night we saw Cody, which obviously seemed like it was a trade for trade. Rollins for Cody, probably. Now we got Rhea Ripley over here on Monday Night Raw. If we did get a trade for Rhea over there on SmackDown, I'm curious to see who's going to be showing up on Friday nights in the coming weeks, as to, the star power big enough to get Rhea Ripley back here on Monday nights. But anyways, ahead of the Royal Rumble, Rhea Ripley is officially back on Monday nights at the start of 2026. Very dominant champion over there on Friday Night SmackDown, so we'll have to see what the Eradicator is going to be bringing to the flagship show moving forward. She will be in action against Lola Vice, a young prospect down from NXT, trying to make a name for herself ahead of the Royal Rumble. As Cora Jade, nice sweep of the legs that time, and Cora Jade's lining Morgan up for something, but Liv Morgan, incredible reversal there, goes for a kick to the knee. Oh, but back and forth this one goes. Cora Jade now just slamming Liv Morgan face into the mat. And now the generational Cora Jade is rolling here. Oh, what a knee strike. Hits flushed in the Bulldog. More damage to that face of Liv Morgan's. And now Cora Jade's going sky high up top. Here comes Cora. Big drop kick. The Women's Intercontinental Champion. Look at this roll-up attempt by Liv Morgan. Goes for a cover, almost got it. I was going to say the Women's Intercontinental Champion is not the only IC champion you'll see here tonight. Femi also in action tonight, but look at this. Morgan got caught with that double arm DDT. The double underhook DDT by Cora Jade, but Liv has to kick out. Liv with a big kick out there. Got to give her some credit where credit is due. Liv Morgan kicking out of one of the things that usually puts a Cora Jade match away. Is now Liv trying to re-strategize here. Look this off the ropes, but no, Cora not there to receive. And now Cora Jade goes for, looked like she was going for sliced bread, but Liv Morgan able to turn things around. And now look out. I was going to say Cora does not want to be there, but Liv Morgan now trying to go for some form of a clothesline, but instead she regroups and goes for a choke to the throat instead. Morgan in full control now. Let's look at this here. Liv Morgan now calling Cora Jade up to her feet. What could she have in store? My God, double knees to the face. Code breaker from Liv Morgan to put her away, but not enough. Cora Jade is now the one showing some heart. As now Liv Morgan goes off the ropes, goes for a drop kick. Cora sidestepping, goes for a clothesline, met by a bit of an enziguri. Got a little bit of it, didn't get all of it. Liv Morgan now going back and forth with Cora Jade. Probably a lot more competitive than Morgan really was bargaining for here tonight. Oh my God, flapjack face down to the mat. The face has been a prime target for Cora Jade all match long. I'm sure Dirty Dom does not like that whatsoever. As now Liv Morgan goes for what she was hitting for earlier and got it this time with that takeover head scissors. And now look at this. The Susia of Judgment Day in control. That's the second time that Morgan has hit that. As now she is taking a moment to gloat to the audience. I'm not sure if I exactly agree with that. Don't give a former women's tag team champion the opportunity to get back into this thing, as Liv Morgan now grabs a submission hold, just jumping right into the arms of Cora Jade, right into that modified guillotine. As now Cora Jade trying to fight off here. Sends Liv Morgan packing. And now Cora sending Liv off the ropes. Went for a little prematurely there, but now looks like Cora Jade is going to challenge Liv Morgan to a strike fest in the center of the ring. Here we go. Liv Morgan not getting the better of this exchange, but then she turns it around. Just when I was saying that, back and forth these two go. Look out! Got it that time. Got the slice spread that time. Goes for the cover. Nearly got the pinfall. Cora now calling Liv Morgan up to her feet for a second time. Going to deliver the double underhook DDT. The double arm DDT connects for a second time. I can't see Liv Morgan kicking out of a second one, but she does anyway. There is a reason, however, why Liv Morgan is the Women's Intercontinental Champion. You know, we talk about, look at this. Oh, beautiful senton off the top rope. Hold the thought for a moment. Cora Jade could have the Women's IC champ beat right here, but again, Liv Morgan proves why she is the champion. We talk about how many times the Judgment Day take easy ways to victory. You know, they're still very skilled competitors in their own right. That's what's kind of more frustrating part about it, is you know that they have the tools to succeed, you know, a good, clean, good old-fashioned way, but they just choose not to. They choose to be, you know, they choose to be kind of the anarchists of this entire thing. As now Liv Morgan making Cora Jade thinking about it. Oh, sends her for her eye with that arm drag. And now Liv Morgan step up enziguri right to the face of Cora Jade. Cora, though, fighting out of the corner. This has been a very competitive matchup between these two. Even if Cora Jade loses this match, she goes for a third double underhook DDT. I was going to say, if Cora loses this match, she might not have to worry about... Whoa, my... Liv Morgan with a third shoulder off the mat after a third double arm DDT. Man, I don't know. You could make a strong case that Cora Jade deserves a championship match either way, whether she wins or loses at this point, because she has taken Liv Morgan to her absolute extreme. And now Liv Morgan is calling Cora Jade up to her feet, and she just flattens poor Cora. And now Morgan again going on that second rope. Cora Jade has no idea where she's at after being flattened by Liv Morgan. And now Liv Morgan thinking about it here. Another kick right to the face. A third time she steps up. What does Liv Morgan have planned here for Cora Jade? Out of the corner. Big strike to the face. And look at this. There's the double knees off the second this time. Liv's not done just yet. Cora Jade is on Dream Street, and Liv Morgan has her potentially right where she wants her for an Oblivion. The Oblivion connects to Cora Jade for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Liv Morgan picks up a big victory against a very prime Cora Jade. Moving right in to more action here tonight, this time with the men's Intercontinental Champion being showcased. This is the ruler, Oba Femi. What a bad man that is coming down to that ring. Oba Femi has been the Intercontinental Champion since stripping that title off of Braun Breaker in the summer of 2025. And he has ruled with a iron fist ever since. Nobody has even came close to taking that championship away from Oba Femi. Although maybe I should retrace my words there, because Braun Breaker did give this man the fight of his entire career last week. Or excuse me, the week prior, and the Raw premiere, the Raw 2026 premiere, the first Raw of the year. Breaker and Oba Femi opened that show and fought for the Intercontinental Championship. And I do have to say, Braun Breaker, you know, he probably came the closest that I've seen to anybody beating Oba Femi. But still, the ruler continues to have hierarchy here on Monday nights. Let's see who is Oba's victim here tonight. And this is a very interesting match here, folks. The Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, along with his New Catch Republic tag team partner Tyler Bate, has stepped up to the plate to answer Oba Femi's request for a body to slaughter. Pete Dunne, I mean, he's been in a tag team with Tyler Bate for a good minute now, but let's not forget how dangerous Pete Dunne can be. I mean, this is a man that will break you quite literally limb for limb in that ring, but Oba Femi, I mean, he's just so dominant, so powerful, and just casts a shadow over anybody that steps in front of him. Dunne, though, a former NXT UK champion, former NXT tag team champion, he has the credentials. And can he be a future Intercontinental Champion? I believe that he has every bit of skill to do so. I just don't know if it's going to be during the reign of Oba Femi. And I don't know if Oba Femi is ever going to let that Intercontinental Championship go, for that matter. Here we go, folks. The bell is about to ring. And everybody is waiting to see Oba decimate Pete Dunne here. Is now right into a collar elbow, but Oba Femi immediately breaking out of it into a backbreaker, immediately sending Pete Dunne riling in agony. There is Dunne, though. Like I said, do not take anything away from Pete Dunne. He's going to bring the fight to Oba Femi. He's not going to lay down for the ruler. He doesn't care how, you know, intimidating maybe other people find Oba Femi. Pete Dunne doesn't have no room for fear in his life. As now Dunne was actually able to momentarily outsmart the big man Femi. As now Oba is welcomed back into the ring. Pete Dunne trying to chop away at the big tree. Sends him right back to the outside. Definitely a little mind games from Pete Dunne here. Look out, double foot stomp averted. And oh my God, what a lariat. Oba Femi with a lariat, now just lifting this full-grown man off the floor like he's a piece of paper with a huge power slam, and now a kick to the midsection. Oba Femi already having loads of fun here tonight with his opponent. And now, oh my, I mean, that's the thing that's really scary about Obafemi is the shocking athleticism of this man. I mean, he's not on the athletic scale of Braun Breaker, no, but he can, show these peaks of just unbelievable athleticism throughout these matches. A lot of times he's relying on his power, but every now and then, speaking of athleticism, Dunn tries to go off the ropes to no avail there. But as I say, every now and then Obafemi will bust out something that will just have your jaw on the floor. As now goes for a powerbomb, but Obafemi again showcasing his dominance and the power advantage that he has over Pete Dunne. As now Obafemi sends Dunne into the turnbuckle. Face first goes the Bruiserweight. And I don't think Obafemi's done there just yet. Double axe to the chest. And look at this. This Obafemi is just disposing of Pete Dunne, nearly driving him into the damn turnbuckle. And now Obafemi is picking Dunne off the floor. Dunne can't even really pick himself up at this point. Big lariat. And poor Tyler Bate has to watch his partner get absolutely mutilated in that ring at the hands of this Nigerian beast. But look at this. Went for a chokeslam-esque maneuver. Pete Dunne reversing into an arm drag. This is that resiliency that I'm talking about, Pete Dunne. That grit style that he loves to perform with. Oh my God, what a spine buster by the ruler. And Pete Dunne immediately stepping to the outside, trying to regroup here. But how do you regroup? How do you strategize against a man that is simply as much of an immovable object as it really gets here in today's day and age? An absolutely irresistible force. Is now look at this. Obafemi gonna turn to the hard cam and send Dunne for a ride with an F10. Oh my God. Oba now calling Pete Dunne. No, Dunne. Nice reversal that time. Like I said, Dunne's trying to stick in it with the Intercontinental Champion. As now look out, Pete Dunne. Oh, look, Obafemi makes his best Samoa Joe impression and just nopes Pete Dunne there. Now another sidewalk slam by the ruler. Oba now picking Pete Dunne off the ground and sending Pete Dunne into the... Oh, went for a uppercut, but Pete Dunne, he has some tactics here in this match. And look at this. That's that limb breaking down that I was talking about. I don't care how big you are. Getting your fingers snapped is going to hurt anybody. As now Pete Dunne working over that arm of Obafemi, trying to take a little bit of the strength, a little bit of the power away from Femi. Goes for an enziguri, misses, and gets hit with a huge head-taking lariat. Oba now, look out. I think he's just about done with having fun in this match. He's now ready to call for the end. And in Pete Dunne's near future, I do believe it will be a fall from grace. Count it 1, 2, 3. Obafemi, again, a dominating performance here tonight. The ruler continues to impress. He continues to also intimidate at the same time. If I'm Tyler Bate, I'm not stepping anywhere near Obafemi after being a front row having a front row seat to the ultimate dominance that this man can display upon his opponents. Obafemi is a man to watch in 2026. Big news. Great news to hear that Penta will return to action next week, folks. But this week we are joined by Judgment Day members Finn Balor and JD Mcdonagh. Of course, we mentioned earlier in the show, Mcdonagh scheduled to take on Roddy Strong of the Undisputed Era. This should certainly be a clash of styles, if you will, between Mcdonagh and Strong, as this budding rivalry between the Judgment Day, faction warfare, and Undisputed Era is still on the horizon, still in its earliest stages, I suppose. Even though we've already seen all 6 of those men in action, there's still some leftover resolve, some leftover hatred between these two factions. A lot of it pointing towards Balor and Cole, as a matter of fact. I mean, we mentioned, obviously, there's that history between Adam Cole and Finn Balor, being that they were at one point a part of the same faction, just at different points of their careers. But maybe there's there's this want to be the faction on Monday nights. Like, the Undisputed Era did not come here to play second fiddle. They didn't come here to bow down to anybody. They are the undisputed kings of the tag team division in their eyes. Meanwhile, the Judgment Day, I mean, you hear it every week. They claim that they run Monday nights, whereas the Undisputed Era are trying to run the Judgment Day out of Monday Night Raw. Last week, Kyle O'Reilly able to submit Dominic Mysterio for a second time in the span of 3 weeks. And now this week, Roderick Strong gets his hands on JD McDonagh. Somewhere down the line, we know Adam Cole and Finn Balor have to be bound to face one another. And what an epic clash that should be when we see that. Although, not taking anything away from what tonight's match will be. Roderick Strong and JD McDonagh are very impressive competitors in their own right. They deserve this spotlight as well. Roderick Strong, at one point, was one of the best professional wrestlers on planet Earth. I mean, you could put him against anybody. And this man was having standout performances back in his ROH days. Even down in NXT, Roderick Strong was a major force, along with his other Undisputed Era affiliates. And now he has a chance to prove what he can do in a singles match. We're used to seeing Roddy and Kyle tagging with each other, but this time we see Roderick Strong in singles competition, as McDonagh immediately goes for a very questionable start to this match, trying to beat Roderick Strong kind of at his own strong style game by throwing some elbows at his face. Roderick Strong lives for intense encounters just like this, as JD McDonagh tried to go off the ropes, but Roderick Strong, having it scouted, slams that knee right into the canvas. And now Roderick Strong trying to get McDonagh off the floor. Big drop kick by McDonagh. We spent a few minutes talking up Roderick Strong and the impressive career that he's had. Let's not be remiss to talk about JD McDonagh, often maybe the most underrated member of the Judgment Day, always having standout performances anytime his name is in the situation, is in the mix-up. JD McDonagh made his name down in NXT UK, then transferred over to NXT, having some banger matchups there. I guess I'll harken my mind back to his match with Gunther at one point during an NXT UK pay-per-view. His match with Ilya Dragunov, another one that was absolutely amazing. So McDonagh, he has some great performances under his belt. The only problem is, like, not only being trying to shine as much as big names like Balor and Mysterio. Well, look at this. Oh my God, what a brain buster by McDonagh. I'll tell you what, you'll start shining a lot more with moves like that. But what I was going to say is McDonagh hasn't had his hand raised in victory in a lot of those matches that I was referring to back in his NXT UK days. So everybody sees McDonagh as this incredible performer, but when it counts, not a person that can get a whole hell of a lot done, but he is looking to prove everybody wrong, all his doubters wrong, and he could start here tonight with a win over Roderick Strong. As McDonagh now Irish whipping Roderick Strong onto the ropes. Beautiful Spanish fly by McDonagh. And now McDonagh is in control of one half of the World Tag Team Champions. And that's another point that I'd like to make, is that McDonagh does defeat Roderick Strong here tonight could put Judgment Day back in title contentions for the tag team gold, as now both men doubling down in the middle of the ring. But look at this, we got a situation breaking out here. Adam Cole and Finn Balor getting in very chippy with one another. Some words were exchanged, and oh my God, Balor now sent to the showers, as is Adam Cole, baby. And we said it, Adam Cole and Balor, that is those are tensions rising between those two, man. We saw last week Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio try to take out Kyle O'Reilly. It was Adam Cole that made the save. And he stared right into the eyes of Finn Balor, almost as if to say, you know, me and you are we're gonna do this thing somewhere down the line, and I'm looking to kick your teeth down your throat, basically. And we just saw those two men almost come to blows in the center of that ring. As now Roderick Strong, look out here, a back suplex on the apron. And now all of a sudden that Finn Balor is not ringside. JD McDonagh seems a little bit thrown off his game here, as now Roderick Strong sends him into the barricade. Oh no, McDonagh with a huge running neck breaker. As the referee getting ever so closely to the count of 10 here. McDonagh, what the hell has he got planned? Look out, a standing moonsault on Strong. McDonagh almost seemingly trying to keep Roderick Strong at bay. He's trying to keep him outside of the ring, maybe potentially trying to get a cheap victory out of Roddy Strong here. Referee, like I said, getting very close to that count of 10. McDonagh sends him just shoulder first into the barricade, and you've got to be kidding me. A count of 9 already, and no, now that's 9 actually. As now the referee, oh, no, McDonagh taking a cheap way out. McDonagh with, I guess, a win over Roderick Strong, but leaving a very sour taste in your mouth after seeing that. These two were having quite the exchange for a singles match. And after Adam Cole and Finn Balor got sent back to the showers, it all just imploded. McDonagh just taking any bit of a way out as they could. Backstage here, looks like all ego. Ethan Page just arrived to the arena. Well, that's certainly an interesting story developing between those two. It seems as if Saints was telling Page that he finds a lot of similarities between the two, and they kind of have the same goal in mind. They want to make sure that these young prospects like a Javon Evans, maybe an Femi, a Braun Breaker, all these young talents that's coming in, they don't want the spotlight taken away from them. I mean, you guys like Saints and Page have had to work their way to get to where they are at. I mean, obviously Ethan Page has been on the main roster for a little bit longer than Saints has, but at the same time, Ricky Saints is a man that has paved his ways and has done his due diligence in this industry, and he wants to be rewarded for that just like Ethan Page does. So I guess he does have a point when it comes to them being on the same page. It looks like Ethan Page, for that matter, is going to give Saints the opportunity to, I guess, prove himself next week. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I guess we'll have to find out next week. Either way, we are joined by the Eradicator, the return of Rhea Ripley to Monday Night Raw, as we saw her opponent Lola Vice making her way down to the ring. Mommy is officially back on Monday nights, just weeks before the Royal Rumble. What a moment. Rhea Ripley back on Monday Night Raw. It's been a little while since we've seen Rhea Ripley on Raw, probably about nearly almost 2 years, as a matter of fact. She was there on Friday Night SmackDown for a while, stuck in this almost seemingly never-ending rivalry with the EST Bianca Belair. Those two women would trade victories over one another. Then Jade Cargill got in the mix and cashed in her briefcase after Belair won seemingly the last, final showdown between her and Ripley. At SummerSlam, it was Ripley and Belair attempting to get that title back off of Jade Cargill, but Cargill would be able to squeak away with the victory at SummerSlam, and since then Cargill has gone on to be a dominating champion over on Friday nights. Meanwhile, Rhea Ripley, as we're seeing right now, has officially been traded back to Monday nights, and you gotta believe she's looking at championship gold once again. As now Lola Vice immediately goes into a collar and elbow with the Eradicator. Rhea Ripley has a lot of power on her side, so I don't know if I exactly agree with this, but Lola's going to try anyways. It's a big opportunity for Lola Vice to get, almost the upset of upset victories against Rhea Ripley. There's some more chain wrestling offense between these two ladies. Lola Vice trying to get the better of the former women's champion in Rhea Ripley. There's a nice arm hold on Rhea right now, switching to a wrist lock. And just wrenching that wrist. Definitely going to take away some power away from Rhea. As I look at this, Rhea Ripley, oh, beautifully done. Fireman's carry, and then she goes to the arm. Rhea Ripley's not the most technical, or technically sound, I guess is a better term, competitor in the WWE, but, she's showing some techers right now, that's for sure. As Lola Vice just has to use her striking background to get out of it. She goes for a kick. Rhea went for a headbutt, beautifully telegraphed by Lola Vice. Almost got the cover, as a matter of fact, with that bridged roll-up. That handstand bridged roll-up. Went for the headbutt again, but meets a knee strike once more. Again, right back in a collar and elbow. These two ladies really having a strong feeling out process against one another. Again, into a wrist lock. Rhea needs to get out of here, though. The more damage to that shoulder, the less she's going to be able to use the power. Oh, you talk about damage to the shoulder. She just spiked Lola's shoulder right into the canvas. One thing that you see a lot of opponents of Rhea go to is trying to take her power away from her, and I tip my hat to that, because that's a perfect strategy going in to a match against Rhea Ripley. As now Rhea going to send Lola Vice for a ride with that German suplex. And a big knee strike right to the face as now Lola tries to regroup on the outside. Oh, what a kick. A huge roundhouse-esque kick. As soon as Lola Vice got back into the ring, it seems like she has, a game plan every time that she tries to get an opening here. Roundhouse duck that time. Now Rhea gets a super kick. Got to credit Lola Vice. She's sticking it in there with a multi-time women's champion, Rhea Ripley. And to think it's their first night back on Monday nights, you got to believe there's going to be somewhat of a chip on the Eradicator's shoulder, especially heading into the Royal Rumble. There's now Rhea Ripley just biding her time here. If I'm Ripley, I'm trying to put this thing away, because Lola Vice has shown that she knows how to, she knows a few things or two about attacking a body part and pinpointing a weakness of her opponent. That's exactly what she was doing to Rhea Ripley, trying to target that shoulder. But Rhea Ripley seemingly back in control here. As I look out, went for something there, but Vice countering out of it. And what a knee strike. That could have smashed the lung of Rhea Ripley. She immediately held her chest. We know that Lola Vice comes from an MMA background, a former UFC fighter, as a matter of fact, before making her way down to WWE. And now she's here, and we've seen time before that these professional fighters that transition into wrestling I mean, you think of the Ken Shamrocks, you think of the Ronda Rouseys, you think of the Shayna Baszlers. That there is success in that category, and when you do change fields like that, as now Lola Vice almost won right there with a spinning back fist right to the face, and that would finish anybody off in the octagon. Rhea Ripley, though, taking it on the chin and able to kick out. The thing about being in the octagon is there is no count of 1, 2, or 3. As look at this. Oh my God. Rhea Ripley sending her packing with that arm drag to the outside. Rhea now calling Lola Vice up to her feet. Mommy's feeling herself. Gonna go air into the sky. A beautiful tope over the top rope. As now Rhea Ripley sends Lola Vice back into the ring. Rhea now gonna go off the top rope. I was gonna say kind of taking a little bit too long to get up top, but hits the drop kick anyways. Rhea now stalking her prey. Lola as now Rhea puts her on the top rope. What the hell does Rhea Ripley have planned from the top rope? Lola Vice going to be sent for a ride with a huge superplex. My God. A collision of epic proportions there as Rhea now goes for the cover. Could that be it? Going to see some heart out of Lola if we get a kick out, and we do. Lola Vice sticking it in there again with Rhea. As now Ripley calling Vice up to her feet. All the air might have been taken out of Lola Vice at this point. As now Rhea Ripley, again, it's just taking a long time to think about what she's going to do next. I don't know if maybe it's a little bit of nervousness being back on Monday nights, but Rhea Ripley is not usually somebody that cracks under pressure. As now look at this. Rhea Ripley has her in the electric chair and drops her face first. My God, that could be it. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. No! Vice just peeling that shoulder off the mat. I am very impressed with Lola Vice hanging in there with a former women's world champion. One of the most famous faces in all the planet, Rhea Ripley. A fan favorite, as a matter of fact. And for good reason with moves like that. The Riptide connects as Rhea Ripley gets the victory. Well, I was going to say Rhea Ripley trying to make her claim for the Rumble here, but Stephanie Vaquer, the former women's champion, out here to basically interrupt Rhea Ripley. Oh, what a showdown that is and will be if we see in the Rumble. Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer, you can sign me up at the door. Well, folks, it is officially main event time here on Monday Night Raw. And as we were promoting at the start of the show, the WWE Champion CM Punk is in the house. And he is abiding by Samoa Joe's kind of not stipulations, but more so his rules, if you will, for Punk to get his hands on Samoa Joe. He's going to have to go through this hand-picked opponent by Samoa Joe to do so. Joe, as we said, making Punk run through some hoops before Punk gets the big kahuna, before he gets the big fish, the man that attacked him on the premiere episode of Monday Night Raw, Samoa Joe. A man that, of course, Punk knows all but too well in this business, and he knows exactly what Samoa Joe is capable of. So I'm sure he has some bit of information in mind as to who Samoa Joe might pick here tonight. Somebody that is just as ruthless and destructive as Samoa Joe. It would be my guess, at least. I mean, Samoa Joe's not going to go back there and pick no scrub, that's for sure. Joe wants whoever's coming out to face Punk tonight to possibly permanently injure our champion to make it that much easier and sweeter when Samoa Joe does get his shot against CM Punk. Maybe it'd be a walk in the park for the Samoan Submission Machine to get the job done and officially become the WWE Champion for the first time in his career. We're about to see who Joe has picked for Punk right now. Here's Samoa Joe down to the ring. Who is Joe picked to be CM Punk's opponent tonight? My God. Another former SmackDown face, Big Bronson Reed. Samoa Joe has picked Bronson Reed to be CM Punk's opponent tonight. Oh my God. Yeah, I was going to say, remember when I said that Joe will probably pick somebody that is just as destructive as him? Well, you're looking at him. Bronson Reed, a man that has destroyed monsters like Braun Strowman in the past, a man that has gone toe-to-toe with the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu in the past, is here on Monday nights, and he has taken on CM Punk, and he's immediately testing Punk's strength. Man, I don't know if this is a one-off or not, but if Joe is in some form of affiliation with Big Bronson Reed, God help us all on Monday nights. As now Bronson Reed's just squeezing the life out of our champion. CM Punk, oh, now look at this beautiful roll-up, right into a roll-up. That is very different out of Bronson Reed. Normally, you know, he's like I said, he's destructive. He's a brute force. He's not usually going for roll-ups. But, I mean, there is a lot of, star power with him taking on CM Punk. Imagine the headlines if Bronson Reed defeats CM Punk on his first night on Monday Night Raw. But that's going to be very, very easier said than done, considering the role that CM Punk has been on ever since winning that championship at SummerSlam. As now Bronson Reed sending him for a ride with a huge takeover power slam. And now Bronson Reed is on the attack of the WWE Champion. Oh my God, just knee first into the canvas. As now Bronson Reed is calling for Punk to get up to his feet. This is an absolutely scary sight. A man that size should not be able to move like Bronson Reed moves. Bronson stomping out the hand of the Second City Saint. And gets right back into the ring to break the referee's count. He's not going to take no countouts like Mcdonagh did earlier. He wants to pin the world champion CM Punk. He's just definitely going to let the count kind of draw through, though, just to get his point across of how much he has absolutely destroyed the champion. As now Bronson Reed sending CM Punk right back down to the mat. He was trying to, but Punk able to escape. Punk goes for the knees, which is something you always want to do when you're facing a man bigger than you. Oh my goodness gracious, what a knee strike. And a beautiful bulldog from the champion. CM Punk now going for an early cover in this one, but I can't blame him. I'd want to put away Bronson Reed as soon as possible as well. Big kick right to the face. CM Punk might have rocked the big Aussie with that one. And now Punk targeting that leg once more. That's the veteran mentality that we expect out of a competitor like CM Punk. That's what makes him the WWE Champion. As now Punk takes a moment to gloat to the audience a bit. Sending Bronson Reed off the ropes is Punk. As now look out. Oh, what a single leg drop kick. Hits its mark. Goes for another cover. Bronson Reed again escaping. As now Punk wearing down the big Aussie. In control, is the best in the world, but for how long is he going to remain in control is the real question. As now CM Punk again working that leg. And we don't just take the power away from Bronson Reed, we also take his ability away to jump off the top rope with that devastating tsunami as well. As Punk says, it's just a matter of time before this thing's put to bed. But look at this, Samoa Joe inadvertently getting involved here, and right in front of the referee's face, might I add. He just pulled Punk out of the ring. He's lucky that didn't cause a disqualification. I guess our referee is wanting this fight to continue because he's actually just throwing Samoa Joe to the back. As look at this. Here comes CM Punk off the ropes with a springboard clothesline. Punk now. Macho Man elbow drop connects. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, as we can see Samoa Joe making his exit in the background. This is definitely not gone the way the Samoan submission machine wanted it to. Now he doesn't even get to witness the decimation of Punk, if there is one. As now look at this. Punk averting a clothesline that time. Sending Bronson Reed off the ropes. Again averting a clothesline. This time turns it into a beautiful neck breaker. Again going for a cover. Just trying to exude some of that energy off of Bronson Reed by going for these covers. As now Punk goes for a chop, but Bronson Reed countering out of it. And oh my God, a Death Valley driver. Death Valley driver from Bronson Reed. Punk getting the shoulder out. Oh, what a strike right to the ribs. And a chop to the chest. You know, maybe Bronson Reed doesn't even need Samoa Joe ringside to take care of CM Punk. Like I said, this is a man that has done just unimaginable things to men that we never thought could be done to, like a Braun Strowman. We go back to their classic rivalry a few years ago that ended in an ambulance match with Bronson Reed tossing Braun Strowman off that ambulance. Bronson Reed, again, a man that took Jacob Fatu to his limits during his United States Championship match. CM Punk, though, now being taken to his limits over here on Monday nights. And look out, Punk gonna take him to school with the Pepsi twist that time. Goes for the cover. Another great near fall by CM Punk. Bronson Reed is slowly but surely being absolutely just chopped down and destroyed. But look at this. Goes for another roll-up. This is the second roll-up of the match that Bronson Reed has attempted. Perhaps some desperation settling in an Auxilla. But right to the top goes Bronson Reed. Goes for the tsunami. Punk saw his life quite literally flashing before his eyes. Just able to make the escape. As now CM Punk sending Bronson Reed down to the floor here. As Punk now feeding off the energy of this infectious crowd. Punk now taken to the skies. Goes for a suicide dive. Reed steps out. And now Bronson Reed muscling Punk off the floor and sending him almost shoulder first into the barricade. Bronson Reed now is perhaps signaling for the end soon here, but looks to do a little bit more damage before he wants to put things to bed. And now Bronson Reed, oh, now it's his turn to work over the shoulder of Punk. Already going to be hard to get him up for the GTS given the stature of the man, but imagine trying to do it with one arm. There's now Bronson Reed tries to stomp right at the head of Punk, but Punk able to fortunately get out of the harm's way that time. Goes for an Irish whip. Punk, nice reversal that time. And now it's CM Punk. Punk getting back into the ring, breaking the count. What does a WWE champion have in store for Bronson Reed here? As Reed now collecting his thoughts on the outside and perhaps working over some injuries that were sustained earlier on in the match. Reed getting back up to his feet. CM Punk, look out here. If at first you don't succeed, there he goes with the suicide dive. CM Punk, never a man to be told what to do, goes for a suicide dive attempt for a second time, and this time he gets it. Punk now going top rope here. Bronson Reed slowly getting up to his feet. Look out. No, Punk with a nice reversal. Punk able to escape. Oh, what a kick right to the ribs. Goes for a chop to the throat, but Bronson Reed able to invert it. And oh no, wait a minute. Oh my God. The Kryptonite Crunch from Bronson Reed goes for the cover. Almost got the job done. The Kryptonite Crunch from Bronson Reed nearly got this thing put to bed. Nearly had the WWE champion defeated, as a matter of fact, is now Bronson Reed trying to think about his next best shot at Punk, but Punk fighting out of the fireman's carry position and puts Bronson Reed into his own version of the fireman's carry, the GTS. CM Punk putting Bronson Reed to sleep and permanently putting Samoa Joe's challenge tonight to rest. The Second City Saint gets the job done. CM Punk with a huge victory over the debuting on Monday Night Raw Bronson Reed, but here comes Samoa Joe back into the fray. We know it would be a matter of time before Samoa Joe tries his best shot at CM Punk. The hostility is just at an all-time high between these two. Punk and Joe now fighting each other in the center of the ring here, just trying to one-up each other, as Punk able to actually get the better of Samoa Joe that time. But look at this, Samoa Joe turns it around. An already beaten, bruised, and battered Punk is now in the death grip of the Samoan submission machine. Most violent man in WWE, Samoa Joe. Punk is just trying to breathe at this point, struggling to even gasp for oxygen at this point. Samoa Joe is choking our champion out. And Samoa Joe just completely laid Punk out. Joe's not done there just yet, though, as seemingly he has more dastardly intentions in mind. Look at this, goes for a kick, but somehow Punk able to, he must have gotten a bit of oxygen, because here comes Punk with a flurry of offense. But Joe coming right back with his own, a brain buster connects. CM Punk trying to roll out of harm's way, might have gotten concussed with that brain buster. How he's still fighting on, I'll never know. That's the heart of CM Punk, though, as Samoa Joe just ragdolling his former rival, now renewed rival in CM Punk. Punk sweeps the leg. Punk, though, refusing to be denied. Bronson Reed has already been taking care of it. It's all but him and Joe now. This is exactly what CM Punk wanted. A clothesline of Samoa Joe off the top rope. A kick to the ankle of Joe. And now Punk. Punk here. Oh, working over that knee. Certainly CM Punk trying to do some damage to Samoa Joe before the pronounceable match between these two. Big strike from CM Punk, and now wait a minute, Punk gonna take Samoa Joe to the hardest part of the ring, a back suplex on the apron. Punk's been watching his Roderick Strong matches, certainly is now again targeting that knee of Samoa Joe. This is definitely done with intention. This is for sure done with intention. As now CM Punk going on the top rope. Gonna collide here with a knee strike right to the face. My God. This is the first time that I've seen CM Punk actually able to withstand Joe's punishment and get the better of him, as a matter of fact, as now he is choking Joe out with the Anaconda Vice. This is certainly a script flipped if I've ever seen one. CM Punk is now the one commanding the ring and the attention, as Samoa Joe is laid out at the hands of the WWE Champion. Last week and the week before that, it was Samoa Joe that made his arrival, choking out CM Punk and left him laying. Now it's CM Punk doing the same to the Samoan submission machine. Punk with a message sent to a potential challenger. What the hell? Oh my God, look out, a spine buster! That's Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs, what the hell is he doing here on Monday Night Raw? We haven't seen Powerhouse Hobbs since his time down in NXT. Ironically, with a tag team with Ricky Saints. And now Bronson Reed is back up to his feet. Bronson Reed's back up on his feet. He wants his revenge. And he's looking for a tsunami splash on CM Punk. What the hell is this affiliation with Bronson Reed and Powerhouse Hobbs when it comes to Samoa Joe? What has the Destructor brought upon Monday Night Raw? CM Punk is absolutely laid out, folks. And Powerhouse Hobbs, Bronson Reed, and Samoa Joe have just displayed a symphony of violence here on our WWE champion to close our show. My God, may he help us all.